We continue now at the top of Daf Yud Bezom and Bezom Mesechet Kesubos. This is Kesubos Daf 12b. The Gemara is going through the different stages of Takanas when it came to the Ksuba for an Almana Bas Kohen. And the Gemara says, Kevan dechazu demezalzli behu. Originally, so they were giving just 100 to the Bas Kohen who's an Almana. That people were degrading the Almanos. Rashi over here says, demezalzli behu b'Almanos. When it came to Almanos, they treated them lightly. Kalas beineim lahotzion. They said it's very easy to divorce them. Mimnesha Ksubas and Muetas. They have such a small Ksuba. So Kinulu Masan, that's when they said that the Almana Bas Kohen should get 200. The Gnai Hoyolehen, because that's already a Gnai for them. V'ava Bisha Almanas Yisrael Nami Ksubasan Mana. Now Rashi points out, even though the Almana who's a Bas Yisrael, so she also gets 100. So Mio Kohanim Chashivi Tvei. Nevertheless, Kohanim are more important. They're more chashiv than the Yisrael. Ugnai Lahem Gerushe Benosein Yosem Yisrael, to divorce the wives who are a Bas Kohen. That's going to be more of a Gnai. It's more degrading for them than it is for the Bas Yisrael. So again, the Gemara says, so they saw that it was degrading for them, so they said 200. But then then they saw that people would actually separate. They didn't want to marry them because it was an expensive ksuba. Because the men would say to themselves, before we marry an almana who's a bas kohen, we might as well just marry a basula bas Yisrael. It's the same ksuba amount. And so the Gemara then says, so that's when they returned it to the original, and they said it would be 100. The Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Bezin shel Kohanim v'chulu. It said the Bezin of Kohanim, they would collect a larger ksuba amount for a Bas Kohen. And the Gemara says, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel, Lo Bezin shel Kohanim bilvad. It's not only a court of Kohanim that did this. It was not only said over there. Even if you had, let's say, a Yisrael family, but it was a great lineage, Imratzu lasos kederech shah Kohanim osin, if they want to conduct themselves like the Kohanim, that's also okay. They can collect higher ksubas for their daughters. And the Gemara continues, Meisve, we have the following question, Harotza lasos kederech shah Kohanim osin. It says over here that if somebody wants to do the way of the Kohanim, could go in Bas Yisrael a Kohen or Bas Kohen Yisrael. For example, if a Bas Yisrael marries a Kohen, or vice versa, Bas Kohen marries a Yisrael, osin, they can do it. And so now the Gemara makes an inference from the Braisa. Bas Yisrael a Kohen or Bas Kohen Yisrael who, the Ikot Tzad Kahuna, only in a situation where you have, let's say, a Bas Yisrael to Kohen or a Bas Kohen to Yisrael, where there's some Kohen involved, so there you can conduct yourself like a Kohen and make a higher ksuba. Aval Bas Yisrael Yisrael lo, but apparently if a Bas Yisrael marries a Yisrael, you can't conduct yourself like Kohanim in that case. And the Gemara says, no, that's not what it means. Lo mi boy kama. Really, the way you understand it is, it's a lo mi boy, meaning not only this, but even this. Meaning, lo mi boy Bas Yisrael Yisrael. I don't even need to tell you that if a Bas Yisrael marries a Yisrael, so there certainly you can demand a higher if it's from an important lineage. The lo matzi amar lo iluye kama alina lach, because there the husband can't tell the woman that I'm raising your level because I'm from a higher status than you. So there certainly she can demand a higher ksuba. We don't even need to write that in the Braisa. Aval Bas Yisrael Kohen, but maybe by a Bas Yisrael Kohen you might think it's different. Why? Because he can say to her, I'm raising your status. I'm a Kohen, you're not a Kohen. So Eimalo, so then I would say maybe not. Maybe she can't demand the higher amount. So Kamash Malon, so that's what the Braisa is teaching us, that she can demand a higher amount even in that situation. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Hanose eso isha, let's say a person marries a woman, v'lo matzala besulam, and he doesn't find that she is a besula. He omera, she says, misheirastani na nasti. She says, I was raped, but it was after the betrothal. V'nistach vasadeo, and therefore it's like your field got flooded. There's nothing, it was your bad luck, and therefore you have no claim. V'hu omer, but he says back, lo, no, ki ala ad shelo irastich. Really, this all happened before you were betrothed to me. V'yamechi mekachtos, and therefore this purchase should be considered like a mekachtos, and I should not owe you a ksuba. So the Mishnah says, Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Eliezer, Omrim Nem Menes. Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Eliezer, they say she is believed. In other words, she's believed to say that it happened Misha Erastani, meaning it happened after she was betrothed, and therefore she can collect the ksuba. Rabbi Yoshua Omer, Rabbi Yoshua says, Lo mi pi anu chayin. We don't live by her mouth. We don't live by her testimony. Ela harezu becheskas beula ad shelo tesares. Rather, the presumption is that she was a beula. She had relations before the betrothal. V'itaso, and she actually misled him. Ad shetavi raya, unless she's able to bring a proof to her position. And Rashi over here says, Na'menes, again, the opinion of Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Eliezer is that she is believed. And Rashi says, Kasalka daitach mishum debori v'shema bari adif. Right now we think the reason is because she's a bari, she's certain as to what happened, and he's just a shema, he doesn't really know. And therefore the reason why she's believed is because bari v'shema, the bari wins. And the Gemara says, Itmar, we have the following machlokas amoroim, moneli biyadcha. Let's say a person says, you owe me a money, you owe me 100. V'halo omer, and the other one says, Eini odea, I don't know if I owe you any money. So here you have a case of a bori and a shema. Rav Yehuda Rav Huna Amri, Rav Yehuda and Rav Huna, they both say chayiv, they say the person has to pay. Rav Nachman, Rav Yochanan Amri potter, but Rav Nachman and Rav Yochanan, they say the person is potter. And the Gemara says, Rav Huna Rav Yehuda Amri chayiv, the reason why Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda say the person is chayiv, because bori v'shema, bori adif, you have a case again, the person is certain that he's owed the money, the other person doesn't know, and so the bori wins. Rav Nachman, Rav Yochanan, Rav Nachman, and Rav Yochanan, they say no, potter, the person is potter. Why? Because uki mamona v'chezkas mari, wherever the money is, that's where the chazak is. If you want to take the money away from him, you need a real proof, and therefore, again, he's allowed to keep the money because it stays in the chazak of where it is. And Rashi over here explains chayiv. Again, the first opinion is that the person is chayiv l'shalom, he has to pay because again the bari wins. And the other opinion is no, potter, the person is potter because it's in his chazaka. Rashi says mi l'shalim, he's potter from paying. Umikol makom, nevertheless, mashvi'inon le'shavuas hasis, we do make him take an oath. Shekein kidvar of she'eno yodeya shu chayiv lo. He has to take an oath that he really does not know. He legitimately does not know whether he owes the money. And the Gemara continues. Amar le Abaye Rav Yosef. Abaye said to Rav Yosef, Had Rav Huna of Rav Yehuda, this statement over here of Rav Yehuda and Rav Huna, they're the ones that say, in the case of Bari V'Shema, they say the Bari wins and the person can collect the money. That's the Shmuel, that's the same thing as Shmuel says in the following. Tetanan, because we learned in the Mishnah, Haisam Uberes, let's say a woman is pregnant, V'Amrulan, they say to her, Mativo shal Uber zeh, what is the nature of this fetus that you're carrying? In other words, who's the father? And so she answers, Me'ish Poloni v'Kohenu. She says this baby is born from the following man who happens to be a Kohen. She's essentially testifying that the child is a Kohen. Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Eliezer, Omer, Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Eliezer, they say, Ne'emenes, she is believed in this case. V'Yomer, Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, halachik Rabbi Gamliel. And Rav Yehuda said in the name of Shmuel that the halach is like Rabbi Gamliel. In other words, the Gemara is assuming that Shmuel is paskening like Rabbi Gamliel. And what's Rabbi Gamliel saying? Rabbi Gamliel is saying you have a situation of Bari over here. We don't know who this child, who the father is. She's saying Bari. She knows who it is. And we follow the Bari. And that's exactly the same thing over here. In other words, in this case over here, with Rav Yehuda and Rav Huna, by the money, we're giving the money to the Bari. He's even allowed to take it out from the chazak of the person who currently has the money. So again, Bari Adif, it seems that Shmuel and Rav Yehuda and Rav Huna, they're all saying the same thing. And it seems that they're all following this psak of Rabbi Gamliel. And the Gemara continues, V'Amar le Rav Shmuel bar Yehuda le Rav Yehuda. Now Rav Shmuel bar Yehuda, he said to Rav Yehuda, again, Rav Yehuda was the one that quoted Shmuel, that the halacha is like Rabbi Gamliel. And so Rav Shmuel bar Yehuda said to Rav Yehuda, Shinana. Shinana can either mean big-toothed one or sharp one. Amrit lon mishmei de Shmuel halacha Rabbi Gamliel af b'rishona. Would you say to us in the name of Shmuel that the halacha is like Rabbi Gamliel even in the first case? The first case refers to our Mishnah. In our Mishnah as well, Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Eliezer are saying ne'emenes, that she's believed in terms of her ksuba, she's believed to say that she's entitled to the ksuba because she was only raped after the betrothal. So is the halacha like Rabbi Gamliel over there also? It seems to be the same thing. It's a situation of Bari over there, Bari v'Shema. And again, maybe the halacha should be like Rabbi Gamliel there as well. And the Gemara says, "My af b'rishona." What do you mean even in the first case? Why even? Why is that case more difficult? And the Gemara explains very simply, "Af agav de'ikol ameimar uki mamona b'chezkas mari." Because in our Mishnah there is a chazaka over here. She's trying to take away money from the husband with her Bari claim of mishay rastani nanasti. So there's a situation where maybe we could say keep the money in the chazaka of the owner, and still Amar Rabbi Gamliel Bari Adif. Still Rabbi Gamliel is saying Bari Adif. In that case, that's why it's af. Is the halacha like Rabbi Gamliel even in our Mishnah where you're trying to use this Bari to take the money out of its chazaka? And the Gemara continues, Leimu Rav Yehuda v'Rav Huna da'amri Rabbi Gamliel. Now let us say that Rav Yehuda and Rav Huna actually are saying like Rabbi Gamliel. They're saying Bari v'Shama Bari Adif, like our Mishnah where Rabbi Gamliel says, and like also what we just quoted earlier, what Rabbi Gamliel says, Bari v'Shama Bari Adif. Rav Nachman and Rabbi Yochanan da'amri Rabbi Yoshua. And let us suggest that Rav Nachman and Rabbi Yochanan, they're the ones saying that Bari v'Shama, the Bari does not win, and they would follow Rabbi Yoshua. That's the Rabbi Yoshua in our Mishnah. Again, at the end of the Mishnah, Rabbi Yoshua says, Lomi Pia anu Chay, and he's the one that argues in Rabbi Gamliel. So the Gemara says, no, Amar Lach Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman can say to you, meaning Rav Nachman was the one by the case of the money where the person's trying to collect the money with a Bari claim. He can respond, I really hold even like Rabbi Gamliel. Ad kan lo kam Rabbi Gamliel hasam ela diika migo. Rabbi Gamliel only said that she wins with her Bari claim because she also has a migo in that situation. We'll take a look at Rashi in a moment. Aval hacha mai migo ika. Here you don't have a migo claim. The case in our Mishnah is really a stronger claim. It's not simply a bari. Inami, or you could say, Arkan lo kama Rabban Gamliel hasam ela damrinan ukma chazaka. There we're saying, establish her. She has a chazaka that what she's saying is correct. There's a chazaka really that she is a basula and that she's entitled to that money. So she has a chazaka on her side. Aval hacha, but over here in this case, my chazaka is leilahai. What chazaka does this person have? And the Gemara continues, Hachinami mistabra kidduka meshaninon. The Gemara says it actually makes sense, like we're answering over here. The Rav Nachman who damar Rabban Gamliel, that Rav Nachman can even follow the opinion of Rabban Gamliel. We'll take a look at Rashi over here. First, Rashi says, Af barishona gabe tvias ksuba. Ksuba, again, our Mishnah, that's the Rishona, that's the first case of Rabban Gamliel. Uki ksuba cheskasa cheskas habal, hachinami gabe mona li biyodcha, ikol memernami uki memona becheskas mori. Part of Rashi is just pointing out the chazaka of the money there is with the husband. She's trying to get the ksuba in terms of taking the money from him. Ela diika migo, rather over there, there's a meaning in our Mishnah, rather, there's a migo over here. She has a migo. Kegon misherastani nanasti. Because what's she claiming? She's claiming she was only raped after the betrothal. Ukegon hio meris mukas eitz ani. Now, she could have, and let's say she says, I'm a mukas eitz. The only reason I wasn't a basula was because there was some injury from wood. The amrinon migo, because there we could say, there's a migo to iboy she could have given a much better claim. That's amigo. She had a much better claim she could have given. For example, when she says, I was raped after the betrothal, if she would have said, I'm a mukas eitz, that's a much better claim. She could have said that. Had she said that, she would not disqualify herself from kahuna, whereas if she says she was raped, she's going to disqualify herself from a kohen. And she goes ahead and says she was raped. Now she's disqualifying herself. Because the wife of a Yisrael who's raped is also to a Kohen. So she has a little bit on her side. Logically, she could have had an even better claim. She didn't use that, so it seems like she's saying the truth. That's the migo. Let's say it was a case where she does claim she's a mukas eitz. She had a claim over there also. She could have said even more than that. She could have said I was a mukas eitz, and that happened after we were already married. That would have been an even better claim. And then she would have gotten 200 for the ksuba. Yet she's claiming she's a mukas eitz before that, and she only gets 100. So she always has these better claims that she could have made. So again, that's why maybe over there specifically, Rabban Gamliel says she is believed. But over here, when we're talking about this case of the money over here, where the bari is trying to say, you owe me money, my migo. He doesn't have a migo de lahemne that we should believe him. Therefore, the money should stay where it is. He can't just get it with a bari claim. And the Gemara said another idea, ukma chazaka, maybe over here she has a strong claim in the Mishnah because she has a chazaka. Misafka lo nashas erison. What are we in doubt about? We're not sure. By the time of the betrothal, basula havai, was she a basula at the time of the betrothal or not? Benishtabed lo l'masayim, then he would owe her the 200. Ibuula havai, or no, maybe she was already a bula at that point in time. So there she has a chazaka. Hamed isha al chezka. So you should establish her on her presumption. Ubasula nolda, she was born a basula. So at the last possible moment, she became not one. V'achashta have it. Even now, you have to assume she was only raped after the betrothal. But again, my chazaka is leilahai toveya. The guy claiming the money with the bari claim, he doesn't have a chazaka. That he should be able to collect. Therefore, we're going to follow the chazaka of the money, meaning the money should stay in the place that it is. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph.